It's called horses communicate with body language instead of talking like Mr. Ed. And while horses appear to live a purposeful life in grace and in their beauty, they encounter adversities individually and as a herd. They encounter predators, environmental factors, and health challenges. They can also be mishandled by humans if their body language is misunderstood. No matter what part of creation you represent, our personalities and our struggles and privileges will affect how we move in this world. We can hear, see, and feel the many things that are happening around us right now. In case you've missed it, the world has many movement in chaos, violence, and control. Within our own state, redistricting, book bans, and budget cuts have affected many of our citizens. It compromises our ethics in voting. It challenges how educators teach and what they teach. It affects what students learn and how they grow. It also put people in harm in need of specialized health care and healthcare coverage. Across our states, ICE, slave catchers, humanity snatchers have brought the energy of terror and control the locals they encounter. This week, I listened to videos on Instagram and TikTok where an ICE threw flashbangs and tear gas into a car with 5 kids, including a baby inside. All of the children had to go to the hospital. And this was just a Black family just trying to live and make it from one destination to their place home. Nations throughout the world are being interfered with, for example, by sanctions in Cuba, Venezuela, Iran. The threatened tariffs to these countries are also part of this warfare. Some data research shared by the Human Rights Campaign mentioned the Trump effect has pushed nearly half LGBTQ plus Americans back in the closet due to the lack of health insurance, discrimination, and stigma in the workplace, including the military. And I've also noticed that there's this rise on lavender marriages. I don't know if you all are familiar with that, but it's when two people of different attractions marry each other for survival. Mm-hmm. So there's a rise on that happening right now for benefits, just to survive. And I have learned from history that there's always at least one group of people that believes they are superior to the others. The group that believes they are supreme would use tactics to get into the mindset of others through dehumanization. They would do things to strip their humanity. They would create harm by separating families and creating misplacement. Across our nation, energy is doing its work. Some of the energy moves by hatred and fear. Some people act strangely around people they do not understand. Some people move in hatred to people they are not typically in community with. And when people fear the unknown, other people's livelihoods are at risk. Some of the energy is expended to halt and inhibit the progression and the evolution of humanity. And some of this energy is cultivating momentum to try to destroy, dissolve, and disappear the goodness and hope around us. Sometimes your movement will meet adversity. On Wednesday, as I was preparing for today, the Verizon network stopped working. I wasn't worried at first, but then I called Vaughn, my spouse, and she wasn't having any issues. So she just kind of brushed me off, until she realized that her phone wasn't working. I ended up driving to the Verizon store to see that many people were having issues. And I immediately thought, oh, something is going on. I was able to witness upset Verizon users walk out of the store just in frustration. And I realized my plans for Wednesday would be altered. I still had to pick up my daughter Camden from school and take her home before I went to go see the monks. But the access I usually had to others had been changed. The access people had to me had also been changed. And as a veteran, I thought we had encountered a cyber attack because of all the global affairs happening at this time. But then I realized this moment could be a blessing. It required me to pivot. It allowed me to think and reflect. And in my listening, I expressed gratitude for the Wi-Fi that we have in our van that allowed me to communicate with the people I needed to when necessary. I embraced a few more moments of this freedom from hearing the ringtone and notifications, because the people I needed to connect with knew how to reach me. The altering of our movement and momentum can change at any moment. We can still gather the energy we have and the spirit of unity to move on and move through the challenges. We must take the time to get to know each other and revisit the history and stories that have shaped us into how handling humanity the way that we do. What can we learn from these voices? What can we learn from the herds that we encounter? How do you see the movement? Considering everything happening in our communities and across the nation, we get another year to gallop into adventure. What does adventure and freedom look like for all of us? Where do you see your impact with freedom and adventure for the civilization and the environment that you encounter? In our lifetime, we get the opportunity to grace the world with movement, our purposeful movement, and grace and beauty. There is something for each of us to do. There is more for each of us to do. There is an opportunity for us to step in and make movement in ways we have never moved before. We have the ability to step into places and spaces that we dared not before. We can move beyond our fears that keeps us captive and separates us from what feels unfamiliar, different, or foreign to our typical lives. We have ways to move and evolve beyond how we would usually serve. We have opportunities to see, hear, and feel life differently than before. Now is the time to leap into purposeful action that requires more depth and empathy with humanity. Now is the time to move with priority on the misinformed and uneducated. those who express themselves with hatred, the immigrants, women, our LGBTQ kindred, and those who are being educated and the educators. Now is the time to be brave and think about impact. And the world, energy and spirit is showing you to express now and to leave as an imprint for those that will come after you. Now is the time to move. And we can move at the pace of the monks, walking for peace, unity, and compassion. This is movement, meditation exemplified. Or we can move as quickly as the horses in the Kentucky Derby. We can move alone or in a herd. There is so much we could learn about horses and how they help further humanity and the environment where we live. There is so much we could learn about the way we walk, ride, and move in this world. The truth is, each of us have particular instincts, habits, and passions that will help us make our lives and the lives around us a better place. Maybe the horse does not speak to you when it comes to movement. Maybe there is another animal that moves you in ways that are inspiring. Whatever that animal is, study it and see why you are drawn to it. Are you drawn to the characteristics because it has characteristics that you have? Or are you drawn to it because it has characteristics that you desire or need? What are you passionate about? What are you good at? And what problems do you want to solve that will make an impact right now? Use these answers to these questions to find a movement that will enable you to make sustainable change. Some movements trending right now are racial and social justice, LGBTQ plus rights, anti-ICE immigration, anti-fascism, and anti-authoritarianism. There's a movement for each of us. As we reflect on the lives that we have lived so far, what more can each of us do to continue with our energy and intense passion for bold changes? Be the change the world needs right now.
And now we have our talk back, Melissa. You can get to stand up. So people get to talk, comment on what you have to say, out of my invitation, so come on down. I'll start. I read this week that a horse can detect if you're afraid of it. I thought that was interesting. Also, one time I was visiting a horse farm, and the guy told me the horse had been born that day. He said, "Do you want to see him?" Of course I did. And I was just so fascinated. The same day that horse was born, it stood up. Just think about that. Compare that with children, with humans. So that just really took me away. And then lastly, my girlfriend kids me because I talk to animals. I frequently talk to the deer, I talk to hawks, I talk to chickens, I talk to the little ducks that visit my pond, I talk to all of them. And she always asks the same thing, do they talk back? Okay, somebody can top that, I'm sure. Here we go.
Thank you. I have a friend who was an equine therapist, and that kind of therapy can do amazing things. She told me a story about an autistic young man who was very afraid of lots of things. And they got him to come to the farm, and she said that a horse will choose you. So the horse, there was a horse that chose him, that came up to him. And at first he was a little reluctant and afraid. But eventually they made a bond, and it was remarkable. So a lot of times you don't think about animals being able to do that, or having some kind of ability to connect with people. But if you take your time and spend time with them, dogs, cats, all, other animals, you can find that bond. And so I think it's a remarkable thing to have. Yeah.
I had a number of horses in my lifetime. I had a Shetland pony, he was ornery. A teenager, he'd lay down in the middle of the mud puddle. He'd drag you off on a tree branch and then roll his lip back and laugh at you. You could put a small child on him, and if the kids fell off, he wouldn't move in case he would hurt one of those children. My niece, she was maybe 2 to 3. We're at the farm, all of a sudden she was gone. She climbed under the fence, was in the middle of the pasture. All 4 horses were around her in a circle. And her reaching out and touching her noses one at a time. You couldn't have thrown a rock and got one of those horses to hurt her. We had a young mare. She was a little over a year old. She thought she was a dog. She couldn't leave the window open. She chewed on her steering wheel. And I had an Appaloosa. He would just let me. That guy, he'd been horribly treated. And I regret to this day that I didn't brush him more, talk to him more, groom him more, and give him the love that he had missed all of his life.
So last September, I lost one of the greatest loves of my life, my mare Scat Stellar, at the age of 38. And Scats was a musician. She had a friend named Raider, and at the barn where she was, one of my friends was an ex-opera singer. And so one day, Raider and Scats are, there's just a chain up at the end of the barn. They're outside. And I say, Leslie, can you sing? And Leslie started singing classical opera. And here is Scats and Raider, they look at each other and sing. And they come to the chair, and you're like, and then Leslie stops singing, and concert over. They just love classical opera. And she tried to sing something more modern to her another way. She had no interest.
I like what you said about following the passion, and we can all find something. And for most people that know me know that my passion is animal activism. And many in our church has followed that path too. And one of the things that we're doing, Alan and I went and saw the monks in Saluda when they were in Saluda at the beginning of their journey, and we got to see their dog Aloka with a heart on its forehead. And it really touched me. Everything about it touched me. It's like Molly was saying, it was emotional. I felt a part of something so much bigger than myself. And as part of, we're trying to think, how can we spread this? And it's one of the things we're doing is in honor of Aloka, we're going to build a fence for some people that have 16 dogs next weekend. And the person we're building for, when we went back over last week to talk to him about what we were going to do, we said, have you heard of the monks? These are people that live out in very, very rural North Carolina with not a lot of social contact. And he said, my daughter just told us about the monks last night. And since then, he started following the monks. And it's obvious that that's touched his heart too. And it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for the animals and for the dogs. And so the way I feel is no matter what path you find to help people, to help the universe, it's going to spread out in so many different ways. And that's one thing I love about UUs is that we all are celebrating our different ways of sharing with the world. And it touches a lot of people in ways we never know.
Thank you for being here. And the whole thing about the spirit that comes from animals, the communication, like you said, horses sense that fear. Dogs, all animals, I think, have that sense. Birds, how they interconnect. It's that interconnection that is there. There is a spiritual interconnection that connects all of us. Generally speaking, we try to avoid it, But you think about it, every time you run across somebody, you just say hi to somebody, a total stranger. There's an interaction in that life that will carry on. So, thanks for being that message.
I love what you said. I think I saw my first horse when I was about 6. My grandfather at the time was managing a stables that was part of a large resort in the mountains, and so when tourists would come and stay there, he would take them out on trail rides. So he had a lot of horses in the bars that he would take care of, and I think that's when I saw my first horse. You're absolutely right. They know immediately if you're afraid of them, as do many other animals. And there's so many wonderful things to learn about horses. Equine therapy is fabulous for veterans. It's fabulous for a lot of people. There are some great songs about horses. One that's fairly new is "The state gave me 18 years and God gave me horses." A man was convicted of being a drug dealer and he was sentenced to his time. 18 months, I guess it was, but maybe 18 years. And part of his duty while he was in prison, the prison had a camp that had some horses that were maintained for equine therapy. So he was, part of his duties every day were to go out and take care of his horses, to brush and groom and help train. And it turned his entire life around, as it has for many, many people. I've also been fortunate to know some people who horses were pretty much their main focus in life. But one lesson, we learn a lot of lessons from horses. And I was fortunate to be born in the year of the horse.
Oh.
You're probably too, but you may not know about it. But one thing that we can learn from, if there is a threat to a herd of horses, if you haven't seen a herd move together and work together, it could be a small group, it could be just 6, 8 horses in pasture. But when there is a common threat, they will all come together. And the threat will not stand there and face a herd of horses coming at it. And we can learn from that. If we all come together and turn toward that threat, the threat will have no choice but to diminish. And another great line from another great song I'll leave you with, it's the fire of the mare and the strength of the stud. Put those together, and it's breeding, it's training, and it's something unknown. But if you have not had an opportunity to be around horses, I hope you will get that opportunity. But just remember, it's the herd mentality can be a good thing. If we all band together, we can stop those threats.
Exactly.
Well, Melissa, I think you hit a nerve with us. You stay comfortably seated while Mike has some music, right?
Yeah. I don't have any, well, I might have a horse song. Sad song. I thought anyone would like this.
All the things you want to, they are more than you. Grace is living. Oh, you know who I am. You know I can't let you go slide my hands. Why is this? Could you drag me away? Why was this? Could you drag me away? And I watched you suffer. Don't make me. And now you decided to show me the same. No sweet exits or old off stage lines could make me sad or treat you unkind. Why was it? Couldn't drag me away. Why? don't have much time. My faith has been holy. Tears must be cried. So let's slowly go after night. Wild horses come and drag me away. Wild horses come and drag me away. Wild horses will ride them someday.
How appropriate. This fellowship is important for us all. The contributions we make today allow us to sustain and grow our congregations and to reach out to our community, both here and the larger world. Your giving affirms our commitment to each other and to the community, and those watching online can also donate. Grateful heart to receive these gifts. May they encourage us to live lives of integrity, compassion, and peace. Now let's look at the order of service for any news and announcements. Social suppers, not having one today.
No, I think we'll skip it because we just.
Never mind. Okay, movie Tuesdays, there will be a group of us meets on Tuesdays. It's Senior Citizens Day, I guess. And the movie this week is The Housemaid at 12:40 at Regal Burkdale. It's a lot of fun.
It's cheap for everybody, not just senior citizens.
Okay, it's cheaper than the matinees.
Tuesdays are cheap all day.
In fact, they told me it's cheaper because of matinee than it would be the senior citizens price.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's where we go on Tuesdays.
It's a lot of fun, and after the movie, we generally go across the street and chat, and we always read the movie and talk about it, so it's a good thing. The Heart of the Carolinas has a very big build. Claudia's already mentioned it. Next week, we're gonna have a build. We set posts on Thursday. If anybody's so inclined to want to help us, we'd sure welcome your help. Talk to Alan or Claudia or me. But then we build on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. The address is in the order of service, and we can always use volunteers. You don't have to have any skills. Is that great?
What time are you setting post on Thursday?
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yep, we'd love to have you. The address is in the order of service, and again, if you have any questions, we'll talk about it. Feed and See, the next time to feed the homeless is February 12th. See Jim Arnold, the times are 10:30 to 2:30. Always need help, Jim Arnold. Okay, Friday.
And Feed NC needs help too.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Just to make that clear.
I'm not looking for another girlfriend. Okay, all right, Feed and See, February 12th. Okay, next Sunday, Reverend Pat will be back with us, talk about the 5 regrets of dying. And then I think that's it for the announcements. And our closing song is
Jim, you got a little.
Oh, Greg has a
Little thing to say.
Yep. Excuse me.
So, most of you are probably aware that we have scheduled to have a vote today on two proposals. We were looking at making amendments to our bylaws. Some information came about the amendments that we were going to do, and so we decided to hold off on that vote. We are taking those amendments back to the board for further discussion. So that vote will come up later. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Our closing song is number 347, Gather the Spirit. Stand if you're willing and able.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, trials around, beautiful spring. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, passion and strength, gather to celebrate one Spirit. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind, seeds from the soul, ignite and storm, nurture in love, conscience refined, body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit, growing in all, drawn by the moon, fed by the sun. Winter to spring, summer to fall, chorus of life, sounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, passion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
And now Melissa has our closing words.
If you do not talk to them, you will not know them. And what you do not know, you will fear. What one fears, one destroys. What does your movement look like? What movement will you join to make an impact now? May your movement be graceful and powerful in beauty and flow.
Namaste.
Bless you.
And now we extinguish the chalice. Say with me the extinguishing words of the order of service. We
Extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
It's been a very good service. Thank you, Melissa, for the message. Thank you, Mike and Eddie, for the music. And thank you all for being here. And we had a wonderful time with the Jews and the Quakers today.
Yes, indeed.
And now we are
It's a great Sunday. Namaste.